This is the Transforming Anxiety podcast with Kelly Hanlon McCormick, and today is episode number 239. Okay, a gratitude episode. Welcome to Transforming Anxiety. I'm your host, Kelly McCormick. I'm a mom to 2 boys, a wife, friend, daughter, and sister, and I'm a certified life coach, yoga teacher, and soon-to-be mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm no stranger to anxiety, and I'm here to teach you how to manage your mind and your emotions so that you too can transform anxiety into calm, peace, and whatever you want for your life. I'm so glad you're here. Hey there. Welcome in today. All right, well, it's November, if you're listening to this in real time anyway, which means we're starting to think about the holidays and the end of the year, and, well, gratitude is on people's minds about this time of the year every year, right? Which makes sense, of course, Thanksgiving and all. And I have to admit, I always have a little bit of an ugh around gratitude. I'm not exactly sure why, other than there's this earnestness to it that feels a little cheesy to me. I like to do something. I like action plans. I like spreadsheets. I like more tangible things to do. So sometimes the squishier practices just feel a little too slippery to me. They feel like, well, I guess we could be doing more. So that's my own bias. That's my own less than ideal opinion. And here I am, sharing that with you and readily admitting that because I push back on this, it probably means that there's something here with this whole gratitude thing that I can learn and grow and practice in this direction, and that it might be good for me. So my intention for today, as we explore gratitude a little bit together, is that I drop some preconceived notions and maybe open ourselves up to the idea that there's something meaningful, that there's something worthwhile here, that gratitude isn't a silly or cheesy thing, but that it's a very real and very impactful practice, and that there are different ways to approach it and practice it than maybe what we usually think of, which is just that old, what are you grateful for? Or name 5 things you're grateful for every day, right? That kind of thing. So does that sound good for today? I thought I'd start with, as we get into this conversation, some thoughts on gratitude from some people that I admire and consider my teachers, people that I follow closely, just some of their ideas regarding gratitude that I can really get behind. So I wanted to start with this, share some of these to tee up what we're going to explore practice-wise with gratitude here in a few minutes. So let's start with Epicurus said this: "Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for." I love this idea. It is helpful to remember that pretty much everything you have, everything you're doing, the relationships, the job, the home, the pets, whatever's in your closet and fridge, whatever's on your shelves, pretty much all of it was something that you wanted at some point, right? We have a very, well, that's done, on to the next attitude with stuff and with places and with people and things. But when you pause and you look around, maybe you can appreciate, yeah, all of this was something I dreamed about, right? This relationship, these boots, this career, this laptop, this dog, this couch, all of it was stuff that at some point I thought I'd like to have that. And boom, it's like, here I am. Now I can keep chasing the next thing, or I can pause here and remember that it's pretty darn good, really. All right, another thought. This is from Melody Beatty. She writes a lot about codependency. She said this: gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Let me say all of that one more time. There's so much stuff. This is one of those quotes that it's like every few words you could really stop and just like stay with that lesson for a while. Let me say the whole thing again. And again, this is Melody Beatty. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Whoa. Yeah, I like this one too. See, it's like gratitude's already starting to sound better, right? This is a beautiful sentiment, and I believe it. Gratitude takes life, like this two-dimensional, getting through the day, to-do list, checking off experience of trudging through it all. It takes that, gratitude, and breathes real meaning into it. Like all of a sudden you have more than enough. When you're grateful for the little things, like the food on your plate and the roof over your head and the car in your garage, the people in your life, my goodness, the people. And none of those are little things at all, right? Those are huge things. But when you pause with that, then you're like, wait a second. Look at how luxurious and amazing my life is. Like, it doesn't take too long to get there. Not if you're paying attention, right? If you're tuned in. Yeah? All right. Similarly, John Kabat-Zinn, here he is with the most succinct, like, you ready? He says, the little things, the little moments, they aren't little. They aren't little. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. They're incredible. They're amazing. They matter. They aren't little at all. This is gratitude. This kind of awareness. That in and of itself is a gratitude practice. Just tuning in. Just paying attention. The little things are not little at all. All right, staying with the mindfulness world, Kristen Neff, she wrote this in her book, Self-Compassion. She wrote, several key factors make a difference in terms of maximizing happiness. Some of the most important are being grateful for what you have, looking at the bright side of difficult situations, not comparing yourself to others, practicing acts of kindness, being mindful, and savoring joy. We're going to come back to that savoring part here in a minute. Kristen Neff is one of the most influential teachers on self-compassion, and I like what she's saying here about maximizing happiness, which I don't even really think of as happiness, but more like optimizing what's best in life, right? Like getting to the good stuff. And there are a few things, a few scientifically backed, well-researched things that make for a good life, and you see them come up all the time. One of them is being grateful for what you have, paying attention and saying thank you. I like this. It's simple. Not always easy because we have to remember to remember, right? We have to slow down. We have to pay attention. And I mean, listen, that's remarkably difficult in our world. I get that, but simple for sure. Be thankful for what you have. Say thank you. Zoom out and notice it. it makes a difference. It matters, right? All right, here's one for you. This is from Carl Sagan. He said, "The world is so exquisite with so much love and moral depth that there is no reason to deceive ourselves with pretty stories for which there's little good evidence. Far better, it seems to me, in our vulnerability, is to look death in the eye and to be grateful every day for the brief but magnificent opportunity that life provides." The brief but magnificent opportunity that life provides. This is the kind of stuff worth keeping close. Like sometimes when things get really gnarly, I find it really helpful to just fill my head with stuff like this. Like I just need to bathe my brain in this kind of stuff. Just keep reminding myself over and over again of the magnificent opportunity life provides. All right, let's talk about a few practices, some practical things you can do. One is, of course, you can do a typical gratitude practice, right? You can name things you're grateful for. You can share these things with a friend, with your family, with no one at all, right? You could write them down. You could think about them as you're falling asleep every night. You could make it a meditation of sorts. This is the simplest, it's probably the most straightforward and obvious idea where a gratitude practice is concerned. And it's likely the one that you think about when you think about practicing gratitude, yeah? So there's that. There's nothing wrong with that. For whatever reason, this is something I kind of like internally push against. I don't know. If that speaks to you, if that feels good to you, do it. Yeah? All right. Another idea, though, which I touched on earlier, is wanting what you already have. Like looking around at the people in your life, looking around your home, your work, your family, your city, the world, and noticing that what you wanted at one point, it's now here. You now have it. Something that now seems completely ordinary, that maybe you just totally overlook every day, or even, think about this, in some cases, it's just downright annoying, right? You wanted that thing, that person, that experience, that situation. It's interesting to reconsider the people and the things in your life with this mindset shift, right? Okay, another, and I touched on this a little bit ago too, another way to practice gratitude to kind of deepen this this neural pathway and this, well, I'll tell you here in a second, is by savoring experiences. So this is something I learned from reading Rick Hansen. He teaches a lot about resilience and compassion and gratitude, and one of the key elements to all of these inner strengths is savoring your experiences. So he says it's one thing to have a positive experience, right? To share a delicious meal with a great person, or to take in an amazing view when you're on vacation, or to enjoy the moment that you do something new or for the first time. That's one thing, like you have the experience and that's cool. But it's when you pause and you really cherish it, right? And get this, he says, this is a quote from him, take 5, 10, or more seconds to protect and stay with it and open to it in your body. The longer and more intensely those neurons fire together, the more they'll be wiring this inner strength into your brain. So again, he's talking here about those inner strengths of like resilience, compassion, gratitude, right? If you do this, if you savor your experiences, you're actually changing and rewiring your brain. You're actively and actually cultivating more grit, more confidence, more kindness, steadiness, compassion, patience, self-awareness. Yeah. So this is important, savoring life's experiences. Don't just have the experience, enjoy it. Notice that you're having the experience. Sometimes this can be as simple as naming it, right? Looking to the person next to you and saying, wow, right? This is good. And just inviting them too to like, let's pause for a moment and just take it in. All right. Lastly, let's talk about this. This is kind of random. And quick sidebar here because I have to tell you about this novel first. It's called Wellness. It's new. It's the newest book by Nathan Hill. This made it onto Oprah's list. Everyone's like all abuzz about it. It's 600 pages, so it's a bit of a commitment. But oh my goodness, it's good. One of my friends, I was talking with her a week ago or so, and she said the pacing is perfect. And she's so right. It just reads, it just flows. It's amazing. Anyway, there's something the two main characters talk about in the very beginning of the book. They're in that like honeymoon phase of their relationship and they're learning about each other and they're falling in love. And one of them asks the other to list off, get this, I love this, list off life's best and simplest pleasures. This is so fun to do. You can do this with your partner or your kids or your friends, anyone. It's so wild because you're not straight up asking them what they're grateful for, right? If you ask somebody that, you kind of get the expected stuff, you know? When you ask for their best and simplest pleasures in life, oh man, this is good. Here's some things I've heard over the past week. I've been asking around. I've been asking my people. You ready? Okay, here we go. Baby toes. Listening to my teenager laugh with his friends. The pleasure of remembering how to do geometry so I can help my kid with her homework. When you bake brownies and they come out perfectly. They're not overcooked. They're just a little underbaked and they're totally chewy and delicious. How dogs' paws smell like popcorn. I love this list. The way the sky turns green before a tornado hits. You can tell I'm a Midwesterner asking other Midwesterners this. Holding my partner's face in my hands when I kiss them. The first cup of coffee in the morning. Reading alone. It's quiet. And similarly, when the whole house is quiet on a Sunday afternoon. How the sunlight shifts every season. Down pillows. This is good. When the Spotify algorithm gets you and the playlist that it comes up with totally matches your mood. Sharpening pencils. Yeah. Vacuuming straight lines into the carpet before vacation so they're still there when you get home. I love it. A new candle. Yeah. Looking at a map. This is fun. Looking at a map to see how close or how far away you are from something that seems completely foreign. Have you ever traveled and then you get home and you're like, we went to wherever. I didn't realize how close we were to this other place or this ocean or something, right? It's kind of funny. Anyway, I love this. Life's best and simplest pleasures. It's so fun. This would make great dinner time conversation. It's like a fun icebreaker. And it's a really cool way to get to know people, a really rich way to get to know the people you already know better. So fun. All right. So gratitude. We did it. A gratitude episode. And I'm kind of loving it. I'm not rolling my eyes or thinking this is something I don't want to do at this point. I can get behind all of this. I need this reminder, obviously. And so I offer you this episode, this conversation, these practices, these quotes and ideas in the hopes that you too find something useful here, particularly as we head into the holiday season. Maybe this can shift gratitude around for you. Maybe it makes it something you can work with in a new way. Maybe this makes it more accessible for you, right? It already kind of did that for me. And going into the end of the year, right, into the quote unquote grateful season, into Thanksgiving, well, maybe this helps. How about that? All right. Don't forget, if you haven't already, I would welcome a rating and review, particularly on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That helps more of our anxious friends to find us. Also, we're on YouTube now. I forget if I told you that. YouTube launched a podcast thinger, so we're on there too. Also, make sure you're on the email list so that you don't miss any classes or announcements, and you can join that over at kellyhanlonmccormick.com. There's a link in the show notes, and I will be back next week with more transforming anxiety. So until then, please take care. Do you have someone to help you with your stress, anxiety, worry, and overwhelm? If not, I would love to be your coach. The Fierce Calm Project is my virtual coaching program where we get to go in on topics like this one, and I can help you apply these lessons to your life so that you're creating your own transformation. We do live coaching calls, guided meditations, on-demand yoga classes. We hold book club where we read books your neighborhood book club won't, and there's lots of bonus content that I've created just for you. When you're ready to take what you're learning on the podcast to a whole other level, then come on over and check out the Fierce Calm Project at kellyhanlonmccormick.com/Fierce Calm Project.